The crowd had seen sumo fights before, but never one where the earth trembled, never one where the ring cracked open, never one where both wrestlers weighed over 600 pounds and were twin brothers. Everyone thought it was a joke. Two 600-pound sumo wrestlers, born on the same day, trained in the same stable, raised under the same roof, facing off in the center of Japan's most sacred sumo arena. It sounded more like a comic book than real life. But it was real, and everyone knew the moment they stepped into the ring, this was not just a fight. This was an earthquake in slow motion. Their names were Hiroshi and Haruto. From the moment they were born, they had been larger than life. Their mother, a retired sumo coach herself, used to say the boys didn't cry, they roared. By the time they were 8, they were wrestling full-grown men. By the time they were 15, they were breaking scales. At 20, they both crossed the 600-pound mark and made professional debut appearances on the same day. But there was one rule their mother made them swear by. They would never fight each other. She believed sumo was sacred, not savage. And brothers, she said, must lift each other, never crush. For over a decade, they honored that promise. They rose through the ranks on opposite sides of the bracket, one in the East, one in the West. They won titles, broke records, built legends. But as fate would have it, both men ended up undefeated in the same championship year. The nation was gripped. The Sumo Association had a choice: let the title end in a draw, or break the unthinkable rule. For the first time in history, two 600-pound brothers would collide. The day of the match, people camped outside the arena like it was a world title fight. Cameras from around the globe zoomed in. Helicopters circled overhead. Fans wore shirts that read Team Hiroshi or Team Haruto. Inside the ring, silence fell. Then came the stomps. The sound of two giants entering the dohyo was like thunder in slow motion. The ring creaked beneath their steps. The referee's voice quivered as he called them to the center. Hiroshi, the older twin by 3 minutes, was calm, his expression unreadable. Haruto, the younger, was breathing heavier than usual, part nerves, part sorrow. They bowed deeply to each other, a bow not of hatred, but of honor. Brothers by blood, now rivals by fate. Then the match began. They didn't charge, not at first. They circled. Each step felt like a drumbeat. When they finally clashed, it wasn't just force, it was history, emotion, power, heartbreak, and pride all at once. The air shook. Dust exploded. The ring cracked along the edges. Hiroshi went low. Haruto came over the top. Their grips locked like tree roots in battle. Neither moved. It was the immovable object versus the equally immovable object. Seconds felt like minutes. Then, Haruto stumbled. Not from throw, not from strike, but from emotion. He looked into Hiroshi's eyes and saw the brother he had trained with, laughed with, cried with. And in that flicker of hesitation, Hiroshi pushed. The force wasn't violent. It was respectful, powerful, final. Haruto's foot stepped out of the ring. The match was over. But Hiroshi didn't celebrate. Instead, he held out a hand and pulled his brother back into the center. They bowed again, this time together. The crowd stood in stunned silence, then erupted into thunderous applause. Not for victory, but for something deeper. For honor, for tradition, for brotherhood.